Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulil karim amma ba'd. In one place Nabi Karim Sahab told the Sahaba that listen carefully, that Iman means a simple life of moderation life. It shows that in our eating and drinking, our sleeping and our dressing, we have a moderate life. Must have a life of moderation. Must have a simple life. Don't go to the extremes where a person goes and start walking around nakedly, or start going to the extremes that you want to go to other extreme where you want to go extravagant. You want to go. Must have a moderation life, and that life is more likable by Islam. One person that was in Medina Munawwara, alim he was, people should go to Medina Munawwara when meet him also, and should take him for ziyarat also, everything. So one is the people who are close to him, they told that why to send a father to England for a small holiday, we take him in England. So they made him ready and they took him to England. After he came back from England, the son asked the father, how was England? England is very good, everything is very nice, systematic, everything. It's not like India, how it is, very interesting, everything. But only one thing is that the people are very poor there. I said, what do you mean? They have got money to cover the bodies also. They remain naked there also. So it shows that don't go to the extremes. You got to love what's in our limits. You got to love. That is what Islam promotes. In another hadith, Hazrat Jabir bin Abdullah narrates that one time Nabi Karim Sahab sent one delegation on expedition, and in the Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah was the Amir of the delegation, and there were about 350 of them that went out. And Nabi Karim Sallallahu in one leather bag gave them some khajur on the way to eat. Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah, what he said, he should give everybody one khajur every day to eat from there. So because how should manage your way out? So if you eat the khajur and if you suck the pit after how and give children something to eat, there's the khajur and they suck the pits, we should suck the pit like that. And after we should drink some water. And we should go outside with our sticks, we should break the branches of the tree and eat the leaves of the tree we should eat. And first we should soak the leaves in the water and then drink and eat the leaves and drink the water after that. Furthermore, Jabir bin Abdullah narrates that then while we were proceeding further, we came to the shores, the sea we came there. When we came there, we saw something like a mountain. So we went close to and see. When it came near, we saw it looked like an animal, and we thought the dead animal, we cannot eat it. But as Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah went close to, we saw it was a big fish. It was, it's called type of a whale, big fish it was. So he told that this fish, it is halal for us to eat it. Allah Ta'ala has sent it for us to eat. So eat how much you can eat from the fish now. And said that we are 350 people we were, all of us ate from that fish. We started eating from the fish, so much so that we started getting strength with ourselves, and we weakness, we overcome the weakness. In other words, we know another hadith of Bukhari is mentioned that because they had eaten for so many days, they were very, very weak, they were thin also. But now by eating this fish here and rubbing that all onto the body, that weakness and tiredness, overcame the weakness and had enough strength now to do the work, whatever it is. That is means they picked up weight, and the other weak means that. And furthermore, he said that the socket of the eyes of the fish was so big that we should take our buckets and take out the oil from there and should use it for our eating also and rubbing on our bodies also. And as Abu Ubaidah radiallahu anhu said, he's got 13 people from the Sahaba and told them to sit in the socket of the eye, and they all fit in the eye. So the fish was so big fish it was. Furthermore, he said that after that, the big bones, and put it up, made it like an arch, and made a camel go through it also. So big that the fish was so big, and the person who sat on the camel also, he gave him a spear, took a spear high like. So imagine what a big fish it was that Allah kept for them to eat, and all of them, and they stayed for 1 month. They stayed there for 1 month. They ate from that fish. They ate. In another riwayat is mentioned that the camel Abu Uwaidah chose was the highest camel he chose, and from them he chose the Sahaba who was the most tallest person. Hazrat Qais ibn Sa'd ibn Ubadah was the most highest, tallest person he was. Put him onto that camel and put a spear in his hand and then go under that the rubs of the fish, and he went through without touching the top of the rubs also. And he said that he was very brave also, and at the time, and he was also the bodyguard of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam at times also. In the time of Hazrat Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, one time the king of Rome, the Caesar, he sent two people to Muawiyah. One was a very tall person, and one was a very brave person, like a wrestler he was. Otherwise, he tried to show that, have you got any people like this in your Sahaba? Because Sahabas were they're poor, they didn't have enough food to eat, whatever it is. So they thought they got all weak people, and impressed Muawiyah. I got people of this caliber, are so huge and tall also. I've got so heavy built people, I've got strength of them. And others trying to send a message to him that don't ever try to fight, come to war against us. When that happened, that was Muawiyah called for the case. Sayyid Ubadah, when he came in front of him, that person looked very short in front of him, and he had a long kurta on. So what he did, he took out his trouser and told the tall person, that king saying, where is trouser? The trouser came out of the shoulders, you see. So tall he was. So although immediately had an impression on them, and the morale dropped completely. Then when that wrestler was there, then Hazrat called Hazrat Muhammad ibn Hanifa radiallahu anhu, who was the son of Ali radiallahu anhu. When he came there, he told, okay, I'll sit down here, and you pick me up. And sit down, he took all his strength. He couldn't get him to stand up. You sit down. When he made him sit down, he took his finger and just picked up his finger like that. So that was the strength he had within himself. When they saw this, they dropped the idea of coming to war with the Muslims. They thought the Muslims got no food, they were weak people, they weren't able to oppose whatever. But when they saw this, they came to their senses. In other words, after when they started living, whatever food, flesh was left of the fish, we tried to collect it and take it with us to help us on the road. And when it came to Madinah Munawwara, they told Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is what happened. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, this is a risk which Allah Ta'ala has sent to you, and it was halal for you. And Hazrat Jabir said that, and Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked that, you bring some meat with you also. He said, you brought some meat also. Then they gave some of it for Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to eat also. Nabi said, ate from the fish also, in other words. Hazrat Asma bint Yazid radiallahu anha narrates that Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a war kurta once, and the length of the sleeve of the kurta was between the elbow and the wrist it was. So here from this you can understand what was the lifestyle of the Sahaba. It was very simple. It was. One normally find that people, when they wear sleeves up to the wrist also, when they do work, they roll the sleeves up. But that part of the sleeve is extra. In other words, without it also you can do something. So they are cautious in such a way that we don't use extra material. That somebody else can use for their benefit. They can use. So and another thing is now that they didn't have so much of wealth with them to so put out the full sleeve also. So both the things are mentioned here. Like for example, when Hazrat was in day one, Hazrat have two majlises, one after Asr and one after Isha majlis have. That time Allah Rahmatullah Sahab was a student in the madrasa. So one day he went to the town and thought, today I'm going to have this majlis, so he bought a beautiful topi. The topi was about 10 to 15 rupees it was that time. So he bought it and thought, I've got a topi by Hazrat, and the Hazrat comment me to and when he came to a majlis, Hazrat saw the topi, but he never said anything. After that Hazrat asked it, how much did you buy this topi for? So he said that 15 rupees or whatever. After I just said that, imagine if you make a topi like what I got on my head here, for that money you should get 4 or 6 topis you get. 2 topis you keep for yourself, 1 you wear, 1 you wash, let it keep, and 4 you could give some poor student number, this to wear, how soft you get. So then he started to understand, I will focus my attention towards the simplicity of life, not getting involved in extravagant things. As Jabir narrates that when the time came for the battle of Khandaq, at that time they had to dig the trenches. So the time, it was winter time at the time, and when they came to know that the Kuffar Makkah Mukarramah and the Jews, they got together and they're going to come and they're going to come to avoid the Medina Munawwara. At that time, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam got the Sahaba together and started making mashwara with them that what must we do now. So from them, Salman Fasir as a new Muslim, he just came, he was a slave, and he was just came to Islam. He also part of that consultation mashwara, and he gave his opinion to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that in our country we have one strategy to save ourselves from the attack of the enemies. We dig a trench, such a big trench where they cannot cross the trench over. When he gave that opinion, then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam accepted that opinion and said that we must see the trench, how is the trench, and that's all decided in the mashwara. So now, when the trench was being dug, so each the Sahaba were put into 10 groups, 10 people groups. Each one had a amount to dig. So that in this place here, where the Salman Fasir was his group, in that place where they were digging, there was big boulders, a stone came in between, big rock was in between, and they tried their best to break the rock, but they couldn't break the rock at all. So what they decided now, those 10 people got together, they said, now why don't we bypass this rock and dig the trench? But then they said, no, we can't do it because Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam himself put a sign on the ground where to dig, and we can't do that without the permission of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So they went back to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to ask permission that this is what happened, a big huge rock has come in between, and we tried our best, whatever the tools were with ourselves, so the tools also got blunt also, and we couldn't break the stone. He gave permission, we can just bypass the stone and make the trench a little. When Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam heard it, he said, no, I'll come there and I'll see what's happening. In the meantime, I say when he went there, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also was working there like all the laborer with the Sahaba also, where he was with the Guru Sahaba. So when I went there, when I saw Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, as Ibrahim says, I saw Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's stomach was covered with dust, with sand. I couldn't see his stomach. And his back also was covered with sand, because I take out the sand from the ground and excavating it, his whole body was covered with sand. And at the same time, I saw there was a stone fastened on his stomach also. So that means now, in other words, he was, because of hunger, to bring back the little strength in the body, they found a stone on the stomach that they could carry out their work, in other words. Then Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came with them and assessed the situation there. And another riwayat is mentioned also that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came there and he took he hit the rock 3 times. The first time he hit the rock, 1/3 of the rock broke. The second time he hit the rock again, another third of the rock broke. And the third time he hit the rock, the third part of the rock broke also. In that way, the rock came out of his position. And when Nabi Sallallahu struck the rock the first time, Salman Fasir says, I saw a spark coming out from inside. The second time also, and the third time also, a spark coming out from inside. So after everything was done, and he went to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I saw some sparks like light coming out from the rock. The 3 times. What was that? Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that was the Farishta as Jibreel Islam came and gave me the glad tidings that the first time when it hit the rock, at that time I could see in that light the castles of Sham, treasury in other words. And the second time when I hit the rock also, then I saw the white castles of Madayan. And the third time when he hit the rock and in the light of the rock he saw the castle of Sana'a. And he said that these are the places which the Sahaba would conquer also inside. So when they heard this, the prophecy from Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Sahaba got so excited that in a loud voice they said Takbir they gave. When that happened, now the people around came to know that something happened, they came to see what's happening there. And in them, some of the Munafiqs also with them. The Munafiqs, when they saw this happening, they in the heart they thought that what is happening here? Here they got no food to eat also, they got no proper clothes to wear also, and yet the Nabi Kareem Sallallahu was telling them that they want to fight with superpowers over the time and they will win them over. How is it possible? So they started mocking at Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But they never knew the value of Iman. These Munafiqin, they never knew the value of Iman. What Iman means? Because of Iman, the person will go to Jannah. And what Iman means was believe in the unseen was belief. Whatever Nabi Kareem Sallallahu tell you by Wahi, you could believe in what Nabi Sallallahu said. That is called Iman, that is called now. And those people, they don't believe what Nabi Sallallahu tell them, how can Iman be intact? So Iman means to believe whatever Nabi Kareem Sallallahu tells us, we have to believe in that. That's the base of Iman. So here, something which you're seeing is completely opposite to that. When somebody sees something with their own eyes, witness something, and then to accept the thing is something novel. Nobody will say, oh, you saw it now, accept it is novel. But something you cannot see and doesn't click the mind also, and then to accept that is the beauty. As Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told them that that's what happened, and it doesn't click, my mind can't understand how is it possible. But they accepted what Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that is called Iman now. In other words, you accept whatever Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, whether your mind accepts, your mind don't accept. You listen to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that is called the base of Iman in other words. But the Munafiqin, they were unaware of this and of this aspect of Iman, because they started mocking at Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and telling that they got no food to eat, they got no clothes to wear, and see what they seeing dreams of conquering the superpowers of the time. Different Surah Ahzab, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala mentioned, يَقُولُ الْمُنَافِقُونَ وَالَّذِينَ فِي قُلُوبِهِم مَرَضٌ مَا وَعَدَنَا اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. So this Munafiqin, they had that type of rust in their hearts, and because of that they were speaking such things against Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is deceiving us, he say, and showing us green pastures in front of us, as well as good things in front of us, and that is deceiving us. How can it be possible that this will happen? Now that rock was broken also now pieces, and the trench was ready now because of that. Hazrat Jabir radhiyallahu anhu says, when I saw the stones fastened on the stomach of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I came to understand that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was hungry. He didn't have food to eat. So a thought came to my mind, why don't go home quickly and go and see if there's any food I give for Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But because there was Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and on duty, they could not just go like that. So they take permission from Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he met Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and told Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I've got some work at home, can go home for a little while. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave him permission to go home. In the meantime here, they're preparing for the war, prepared for the war here, and he took permission and went home now. When he went home, he went ask his wife that I saw Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in such a condition that he's very weak, he hasn't eaten for so many days. Have you got any food at home or not? He said, yes, I've got some little of barley, flour. I can make flour out of the barley, and I can make some rotis with it. And we got one goat, baby goat we got. You can slaughter that. So he said, very good. So she started making flour with the barley, and he went and slaughtered the goat and make pieces of the meat of the goat and put it onto the fire. And while it was cooking, and she was busy making the dough for the roti. So now it isn't much work left at home. The time upon Nabi Karim Sallallahu the food will be cooked also, and the roti will be made also. So he went call Nabi Karim Sallallahu to come home to eat. But when he was going out, his wife told him that make sure that you don't call all the Sahaba. Make sure you call Nabi Karim Sallallahu, but few Sahaba all you call them. So because the food won't be enough for everybody. So he went and went to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and told Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that I prepared a little food for you. Why don't come have some meal at home? I'm inviting to come home. But with you can call 2, 3, 4, 5 Sahaba, little Sahaba. That food can be enough for them. He told him how much food he has got. Nabi Karim Sallallahu asked him how much food you got. He said, this is about the food I've got. So in other words, he tried to tell him that bring so much Sahaba with you that food will be enough for them. So in this when he said that, then Nabi Karim Sallallahu replied to him that this is a lot of food, this man. So he announced that all the Sahaba come, you got dawat at Jabir's house, you got dawat now, you can eat food now. Now you got so worried what will happen, the food is so little, and all the Sahaba are going to come, how the food will be enough for everybody. Anyway, quickly he went home, before Nabi Karim Sallallahu to tell his wife, this was transpired there now. And among the people working there, during the trench, were about 1,000 people there were. So when Jabir came home quickly, he told his wife, this is what transpired. She also worried, but at the same time she was an understanding woman. So she asked him that, you tell Nabi Karim Sallallahu the reality was happening. He said, I told him about that. So if you told him and he knows, then don't worry. Then he'll attend to whatever it is. Anyway, it comes under other riwayat also, that when Nabi Karim Sallallahu came to the house, he told Hazrat Jabir radiallahu anhu that where's the pot of food, and he went there, he blowed under the food and some saliva in the food and the dough also, and told the wife that leave the pot here by me and close the lid of the pot, and the dough also, tell the wife to put a cloth over it and don't open the cloth, just put a hand under the cloth and take out the dough from there, and call one other woman also from the neighborhood to make the rotis also. So they came and they were baking the rotis, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu had a pot of the food in front of him, and he put the spoons and take out put one roti on the plate and put some gravy and meat onto the roti, and told her that told to bring 10 people in the house. The house was small, all couldn't fit inside, so he called 10 people. One group of 10 people came. Nabi Karim Sallallahu gave them the food in this manner, one roti and on top some of the gravy on top, some meat on top. When they ate with stomach full, they went out, another 10 people came like that. In that manner, 10 people started coming, each one started eating so much that all the whole group of Sahaba ate to the full also, and at the end there was still food left also in the pot. Nabi Karim Sallallahu not tell your wife must eat also, tell the children must eat also, and can distribute it among the neighbors also who have got no food also. In that manner, all of them ate food in that manner. So this was one of the miracles of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that food was enough for so many people, in other words. So this was mentioned in Hadith. Now, Ghazwa Khandak, the battle of the trench, which is called. What is the history behind that now? In the time of Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Mushrikeen and enemies of Islam, they had different fights with the Muslim, and whichever battle Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took part with the Sahaba, that is called a Ghazwa. And in the battle of the trench also, Nabi Karim Sallallahu took part also in this battle also. This battle took place in the 4th or 5th Hijri, maybe at the end of 4th and the beginning of 5th Hijri, some around it took place. And the reason behind how this battle took place was because before this, other battles took place, and what took place. For the result, the Kuffar of Makkah Mukarramah, they were very demoralized already. They didn't have courage to come and fight again with the Muslims. But in Medina Munawwara, there was a Jewish tribe which was called Banu Nazir, what the name was. And they were always they were troubling Nabi Karim Sallallahu and breaking up promises, whatever it is. So because of that, Nabi Karim Sallallahu chase them out of Madinah Munawwara, and leave Madinah Munawwara and go away. So from them, these people, some of them they went to Jordan, some of them they went to Khaybar, they went away, and they started settling there. So because they were treasures against Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so what Nabi captured all of them, and then they said, whatever decision you make for us, we'll accept the decision. So Islam expelled them from Madinah Munawwara and Madinah Munawwara. And Islam comes on the camels, whatever you can take out your wealth, take the wealth first and go away from me. We don't want you anymore in Madinah Munawwara because of the harms you are causing to the Muslims again and again, and not repenting, and no remorse with yourself, you're not changing yourself, and keep on disturbing the Muslims, hurting the Muslims and all that. So now you can just leave from here, whatever it is. So they left from here, and they settled in, and from this year they settled in, one group settled in, Khaybar they settled. And the leader of this group was Hayy ibn Akhtab. He was a leader, and he was very angry that why Nabi Islam expelled them from Madinah Munawwara. So because of this, he had always that feeling of taking revenge against Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So he thought of different plans. So now he thought of a plan. He took 40 Jews and he went to Makkah Mukarramah. He met the Mushriks of Makkah Mukarramah and started talking to them. He said, why don't you go and fight against the Muslims and all that? And they said, we got no guts not to fight against the Muslims. But he said, no, you don't worry. We will support you from the fight against the Muslims also. So the result, when this thing carried on, the talks carried on among them, and he encouraged them to go and fight. But they said, Pandor also went, also we could, and he said, don't worry of that. We are here to support you now. We are so many people. We got wealth also with ourselves, whatever it is, and they made them feel more comfortable. But these people knew, the Muslims in Makkah Mukarramah, they knew that these were Jews, and they believe in Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and they believe in the Torah also. And the Torah also is a heavenly book, and you know the Torah also don't like shirk. That part is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't approve of idol worshipping of it. So what this the Kuffar Makkah Mukarramah said, let's test them out first. So first you tell us, is our religion a better religion or Islam better religion? Which is better religion? Now the Jews knew in the Torah, what is written in the Torah, that Islam is a better religion, and the Muslims were worshipping the idols is not a better religion. They knew about that. But in spite of that, they against their wishes, they still have no, that your religion is a better religion. So now the Kuffar got happy that at least they are with us, in other words. They are not with the Muslims, in other words. So when this happened now they thought that now it is not sufficient now. So what they did now, they told them that what must do now, let's go to the Kaaba now, and we'll make a promise by the Kaaba that we're going to fight with the Muslims till the end, and we won't turn now back from there. Until our last person from us are not killed, we won't rest with peace, in other words. So they went to the Kaaba, and they caught the curtains of the Kaaba, and they all made this promise there. Imagine a time when they made a promise at the Kaaba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so Halim, forbearance, that these people, they made a promise to fight against the Habib and Nabi sallallahu and of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what is going to be the end result of it. So they carried on with whatever it allowed them to do, whatever they want to do. And after they finished with this agreement with the Kuffar Makkah Mukarramah, then around Makkah Mukarramah there were other tribes also. Those tribes didn't have any fight with the Muslims. They didn't oppose the Muslims at all. So they went to those tribes now. The tribes of Hifan, Sulaim, Aslam, etc. They went to them and started talking to them also. And telling them that why don't you join us? We have made a promise to the Mushrikeen of Makkah Mukarramah. Why don't you join us also in this battle against the Muslims? So he said, we got no enmity with them. We got no enmity with them. Why must we? He said, no, if you join us from Khaybar, whatever produce we have of Khajur, one whole season's produce we give to you. They gave him a bribe worth wealth, in other words. When seeing that the leaders, they felt comfortable with it, and they supported them. and they accepted to join them. Because of them now, the numbers of them increased also to come and fight against the Muslims in Medina Munawwara. So in other words, here, what the Jews did, they got all the people together, which now we call them a national alliance they make now. They got Kuffar also, they got all the tribes on Makkah Mukarramah, got all them together to fight against the Muslims. So they say the number was about 10 to 15,000 in number that they became now. And Hazrat Abbas was the uncle of Nabi Karim Sallallahu, he got Iman already at that time, but Nabi Karim Sallallahu, because of some wisdom, he kept him behind, so he stayed in Makkah Mukarramah. You must make hijrah at last, So, and another one thing was, whatever these people do in Makkah Mukarramah, he was there to inform Nabi Karim Sallallahu what they are doing. So when this thing happened, they got together and they were to march towards Medina Munawwara. So he sent one person on a horse, a very fast horse, and sent a message to Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that this is what they are intending to do. So when this happened, then Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam called all the Sahaba and made mashwara with them. Now what must we do now? This message come from Makkah Mukarramah, and they are on the way to come and fight against us. What must we do? So, and they knew very well that at the time of Badr also, Uhud also had a lot of losses, but now they're coming back again, and at the same time, the Muslims also at the time of Uhud, they also had some loss also at the same time. So what must we do now? In that mashwara was Salman Farsi was also in that mashwara, and he gave the opinion that in our country, when something like this happened, we dig a trench, we think. Such a big trench we dig that enemies can't cross the trench, so we don't go to a war, formal war like. Then Nabi Karim Sallallahu accepted this opinion of his. So this was decided. Now they're going to dig a trench around Medina Munawwara. The Kuffar Makkah Mukarramah cannot come into Medina Munawwara. So here Nabi Karim Sallallahu himself went there, and with his own hands he brought the marking on the ground from where to where this trench will be. So the area demarcated by Nabi Karim Sallallahu was from Wadi Bhutan and up to Ratuna, and from there it was about 3.5 miles long, the area which we had to dig the trench. So. And in some revises it's mentioned that just 15 feet wide and 15 feet deep it was also. So this the trench was going to dig this trench, and Nabi Karim Sallallahu made groups of 10 Sahaba to dig a certain portion out. Each one had the portion to dig. 10 Sahabas had one portion to dig like that. And we all know very well in Medina Munawwara also there are a lot of mountains there, mountainous areas also, stones also, whatever there. In spite of all that, the Sahaba got together and they started digging the trench in Medina Munawwara. And it took them 6 days to dig the whole trench. Those days, they didn't have any machinery, but with their own hands, they worked day and night, and they dug this trench in 6 days. And at that time, they were very poor also, they didn't have much wealth also, but only after the conquest of Makkah Mukarramah, then wealth was coming into the hands of the Sahaba Kiram. And because they didn't have wealth to them, they didn't have much food to eat also, so they fastened stones onto the stomach to suppress the hunger, and they worked in this manner they worked. So this hadith Nabi Rahmatullahi brought about here, the purpose of this hadith also is to show that what was the condition of the Sahaba at that time. They were very poor people and didn't have enough food, and they also in this instance for 3 days they had no food to eat, and because of that they had to fasten the stone onto the stomach of the fasten. In spite of all that, they should not complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were happy with Allah's decision. They never complained to Allah, never gave us food to eat, never put us in a better position. We are servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They never tried to try and praise themselves for the iman yet, but they were satisfied with what condition Allah kept them in. Unlike us now, if we don't have something, they start complaining to Allah. Allah is not happy with us. And sometimes the people talk such words, the words of kufr come from the tongue also. But this Sahaba comes in, the condition was such that they always have patience with themselves. They accepted what Allah Ta'ala decided for them. So from there, we could take a lesson from the lives of the Sahaba Kiram, In whatever way Allah Ta'ala keep us in, we must be happy with it. And this condition of the Sahaba was not for 1 day or 2 days, or 3 days in the row, sometimes more days also in that condition. But in spite of that, they were happy with the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Allah Ta'ala has given us so much of ni'mat, you must be pleased with the ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because much more than what they had also. Like before it was mentioned also, that 3 moons should rise, and should have any, the stove shouldn't get lit in the house of the Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. In spite of all that hardship, they never ever complained against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they were eager to follow the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and obey the commands of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we look at their lives of the Sahaba Kiram, how they were satisfied with the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and look at our lives, how our lives are. We have made a level of life which we want to love, and we think if we measure up to with that level of life, then Allah is displeased with us. Allah is not happy with us. Allah is sad with us. And we don't think that Allah planned for us, it is better for us, because we have planned a certain standard of life for ourselves, and that standard is not achieved, then we complain against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas it shouldn't be that way. Why must we define as our status or a level of living? What must we decide those things? Whatever Allah give us, let that be the judging line for us, and be happy with that. Then that is a real demand of a mu'min. So Allah Ta'ala's system is completely different. Allah Ta'ala gives a mu'min who believes in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also sustenance, and Allah Ta'ala gives sustenance to those kuffar who don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives them also sustenance. Allah gives them. So Allah gives sustenance to everybody. Allah gives sustenance to. And in another hadith is mentioned that because of our weaknesses, Allah Ta'ala gave the kuffar so much. If we were not so weak, Allah Ta'ala should give the kuffar houses where their roofs were made of gold also, the stairs were made of gold also, the doors were made of gold also, the beds also were made of gold, everything, and everything should be made of gold for them. Just because of our weak iman, Allah Ta'ala never gave them so much that if they should see that much, that the Muslim should feel hurt and say, now the kuffar got so much, in other words, Allah is happy with them, and should turn away from Islam just now. Just because of it, Allah Ta'ala never gave them so much. It shows that how important it is for us to understand that what Allah has given to us, be happy with that. Don't worry what the kuffar got. They got whatever they got, whether they got haram means or halal means, we don't know about all things there. And because somebody else means haram means, Allah is not happy with that. So whatever Allah gives us in halal manner, we must be happy with whatever Allah gives us in halal manner. There's one incident mentioned in the Kitabs. There's one person who was, they call him Tersi, a person who was a druggie. He drinks it, or tobacco or whatever things they. So he went one person and asked him for paying for money to buy some drugs. So this person told him, no, I'll give you food to eat, but I won't give you money for drugs. So this person said, no, but the food, Allah Ta'ala has taken the responsibility to feed me. Said, I don't worry about that. You just give money for church. Allah won't give money for church. There's a bad habit, there's guna, whatever it is. So this I can't ask Allah Ta'ala for this. This I can ask you can give me this. So he pleaded with this person, thought, no, whatever it is now, give him some money and see what he does now. So start following him now. When followed him and saw that person where he was going, and that time in the town there was a wedding taking place, and they had one tent of the men on one side of the road, and the other side of the road they had a tent for the woman, and the food was being cooked by the men's side. So the one person was taking a tray of food, the biryani, to the lady's side, and just before entering the tent of the lady's side, he tripped, and the biryani all fell onto the ground. So whatever was in the tray, he put that also onto the ground, and he went to fetch some more. So the druggie, he came there, and he saw the food on the floor, he started eating quickly. And he thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, it looks like Allah is just pleased today with me. He's not happy with it today, but nobody gave me the plate to eat. Today, give me on the floor to eat today. Okay? So imagine now, he also had so much thought that Allah has given the food to eat. Imagine now, he knew that Allah Ta'ala is responsible to feed me, Allah will definitely feed me also. And what is our condition? When we got food in our homes, we eat everyday food, how much must we be more thankful to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? You'll see nobody in our area will find that everyone wake up in the morning hungry. But when you all sleep at night, you all sleep with stomach full, you sleep. You never stay hungry at night. And I'm not saying to stay hungry at night. So it is a never to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Shouldn't think Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala never given to us. Like how the birds go leave their nest in the morning, and even they come with the stomach belly is full, they come home. Same thing with us also. In the morning we wake up hungry, but after when they eat the whole day, when it's come, in night come, we sleep our stomach full, we sleep at night also. So this are never to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We should go to understand and thank Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for the never He has blessed us with. Then our iman will become more strong and perfect. It will become. Yeah, and another hadith also Anas radiallahu anhu narrates that Abu Talha radiallahu anhu, who was the husband of Sulaim radiallahu anhu. Sulaim radiallahu anhu had a son. His name was Anas radiallahu anhu. So his father, his name was Malik, he passed away. Then she got married to Abu Talha radiallahu anhu. And that man Abu Talha became the stepfather of Anas radiallahu anhu. So one day Abu Talha said that when he went to meet Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very pale. His voice was very like weak. He understood that Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam hasn't eaten food, in other words. He's sick, he's hungry, in other words. So he came back home and asked his wife that is there any food at home. He said there's a little bit barley, and she went to one corner and brought the rotis from there, and took the rotis, put it into a scarf, and wrapped it into a scarf, and gave it to Hazrat Anas radiallahu anhu, and he put it on the arm, and he went to and his stepfather told him that now go to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam and give him the food to eat. So in one hadith mentioned that he went there with the food, and another riwayah said that he gave the option that if you find Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam is busy or you want to come home, you can bring him home also. So when he went to Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he saw Nabi Karim sitting with other Sahaba, and he stood one side. What must he do now? And so stood one side. He saw that Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw him and said that, why have you come here? And the father sent me here. Says, my father sent me here. He said to eat food or put some food or whatever he says. Nabi Karim announced, okay, then tell the father that we are coming to eat by your house now. So now the fear they had within themselves, that a little rotis won't be enough for everybody, that came to reality. Now what must he do now? So they went. So he went ahead of Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam and told his mother that Nabi Karim sallallahu is coming with the Sahaba come and eat food here. Now they're worried now. What is going to happen now? The food is now little, and the Sahabas are only so many going to come now. How are we going to manage now? So when Nabi Karim sallallahu when he announced that let's go to Anas's house now, so Sahaba all got ready and started coming to the household of Anas radiallahu anhu. At that time, his wife also now, Abu Talha's wife, Anas's mother, asked Abu Talha what was the Nabi Karim sallallahu did know that how much food we got at home. So Anas replied, yes, I told him we got so much food at home, whatever it is. So if he knows there's so much food, then we don't know what he's saying. Then whatever he'll come with the barakat, whatever it is. So Nabi Karim came to the house, and he told them that now where's the food now, the rotis. Nabi Islam read something on the rotis, and he blew onto the rotis and told him where's the gravy for it. See, we got no gravy. Say, but you got any ghee in the house also. Say, but the ghee is finished in the container. So it was Nabi started bring the ghee container also. So he told him break out rotis with small pieces and put it into a bowl. And after he took the ghee, whatever little ghee was left on it, he tried to squeeze that little ghee and put it onto the roti and mix it onto the roti now. And now after that, Nabi said now, because the house was very small also, he called few people, 10 people in the house at one time to eat. And Nabi gave from the bowl for them to eat. Every 10 people ate from the bowl and they went out slowly. And after when they finished, there was still roti left inside, and said that there was 70 to 80 people we were. So this is also show the barakat and mercy of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that because they were all very hungry and didn't have food to eat also, and they invited Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with sincerity. But the sincerity alone brought this barakat in the house, and that food was enough for everybody. And even the people of the house, food was enough for them also. And another riwayah is mentioned that Anas says that once I went to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and I saw Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has something fastened on his stomach. I couldn't understand, because it was a small boy at that time, so I couldn't understand what was fastened on his stomach. So I asked the Sahab, what is this? Why is this? Then they told him that this is because he hasn't eaten and is hungry. That's why he fastened his belt on his stomach. So then he came to know that there was hasn't eaten food for so many days. He came home and told his mother and stepfather that as soon as in this condition he has got no food to eat, and he's fastened the belt on his stomach. So because of it, after then his mother sent us the rotis there and called on Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to come and eat at home. So these were type of difficulties and tests the Sahabas underwent, and they were habituated to all these tests, because they know that they were not doing anything haram, they were not doing anything wrong. Whatever they did was according to the law of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So they were very much content with that type of life. Instead of being so weak also, they had to fast stones onto the stomach, but they never did something which was wrong. They adopted any haram methods. So as a result, Allah Ta'ala blessed them in different ways, and helped out and given them their patience also. Allah gave them also. So it shows in this whole chapter explained to us that whichever condition Allah keeps us, you must be happy with that condition of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Don't complain to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Don't use words which is appropriate for us to use against Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Be happy with Allah's decision. Then we find our iman will come to such a level where we'll understand, experience the sweetness of that iman. That's why I find many places to find the Sahaba Karam should enjoy the ibadat so much, the sweetness of the ibadat should feel. How was it? Because of the contentment they had within themselves, because of the focus they had with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. They enjoyed the ibadat. To do ibadat the whole night, to read ibadat, to read namaz. To read Quran whole night, to read Quran also to read. Shouldn't feel hurt or what shouldn't feel tired or, because they were contented with the condition Allah kept them in. But because we are not, we have adopted that condition within ourselves, that's one small thing we complain to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. That's why we lose courage also, we can't do something. And we see now how Allah Ta'ala opened the ways for them to feed them also, but little food was sufficient for so many people. So we have that trust in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, but little food will be able to look after our family also at the same time. But when you're going to complain to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, then the little food also won't be enough for us. That contentment will go away from us. Now when we were studying at the Hathora, Mulana Siddiq Sahab Rahmatullah Alayhi, he was explaining, said once, I bought the flour and left it home. It was just juice from the flour, whatever juice from the flour was eat from there. So, and there was, I think, rice also there was. So for quite a few months, close to a year, he said that they were eating from the rice all the time. Then once the wife thought, let me see how much left inside. She opened the lid to see how much left over. From there, the next month, the rice got finished after that. Barakat went away. So sometimes Allah Ta'ala gives barakat in that manner when you are willing to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, you have confidence, trust in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah keep on giving that barakat to you, and things get better later. There's one buzurg there was, he should always tell the people that was all make dua for barakat. When you got barakat, the ends, and you will make your ends meet quickly. So always worry of barakat always. So when the small child was listening to it, as the child grew bigger, after some came understanding, when he asked the father that you talk about barakat so much to the people, show me what is barakat. I can't understand what is barakat. So the father took him by his finger and took him to the bathroom and showed him the geyser and do this barakat. He said, I can't understand what is barakat in the geyser. I can't understand it also. The father claimed that before you were born, in other words, once I got married to your mother, I installed a geyser in the house, and till today I haven't had any maintenance on the geyser at all today. So that shows that the ni'mat of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, what Allah gives you, we take maximum benefit from them. That is called barakat, in other words. Whatever ni'mat Allah gives you, you derive maximum benefit from the ni'mat. That is called barakat, in other words. Whatever little you got, your needs are being fulfilled in that ni'mat, the little you got, that's why there's barakat inside. There was one place, there was one person, a wealthy person, he went to one Mauli Sahab and told them that I envy your people very much on our, because they get so little wages and they got so much barakat and things get sorted out now, whatever. Because we are earning so much money and we get no barakat in our wealth. Also, I say it's very simple, that's very simple, man. Give me your barakat money, give it to me, I'll give my barakat money to you, you love you, have no problem. So he just kept quiet when he says. The problem is the ulama, they don't complain, and the wealthy people complain. There's difference. That's why there's no barakat in earning, they don't have. So the minute we have shukr within ourselves, that whatever little you got also, we ends get meted in there, and Allah give barakat in there. And you don't even know how the barakat came, how your ends got meted up. That also you won't understand. Some people, a lot of for example, I will give an example to say that one person earns, for example, he earns 5,000 rands, he earns a month, and he comes home at night. Now what he does now, he comes home at night, at the end of the month when he comes home, he first pays all his bills out, what to pay after, then he buys groceries for the month, for the home, whatever it is, whatever necessities of the home, he buys all the things, put it home. Now at the end of the month now, he saves, for example, 100 rands saved, 200 rands he saved now. So in other words, the whole month went past, all his needs got fulfilled also, and he got a saving of 100, 200 rands he's got now. That is called a barakat now, that is called now. On contrary to that person earns 15,000 in the month, or 15,000 in the month he earns now. This person comes home now at the end of the month now, he pays all his bills or whatever it is, and after he buys food for the house also. Now somebody's gone sick now, something broke something in the house, you got to buy those things, they look at the medication, and all other expenses are related to that or that come about. And at the end of the month now, he had to borrow from somebody 200 and 500 rands to make the end meet of the end of the month now. So this shows he had excess with him, but he had no barakat. The first person had little, but he had barakat with himself. So as Muslim, we got to make dua for barakat in our lives. And the meaning of barakat, you cannot explain anybody. There's no words to explain the meaning of what barakat means. But the Muslims experience barakat in life. You know what is barakat, Muslim? So it's important that we look for, not for excess, but look for barakat. Maybe look for barakat, not for excess. Then our life will become a successful life, and then we have contentment within ourselves also. And we're happy with what Allah provided for us. But the result, find success wherever we go. We find success because of that. Here, the Sahab we see how they live their life. They have nothing for themselves, but at the same time they're content with Allah's decision. So Allah gives them success wherever they got success wherever they. A person's got a lot of things, whatever now to do some work of deen. You think twice, must I go? I got this responsible. I got that responsible. I'll do this. I must do that. If I go, what will happen to everything? But he's got nothing with what. He's got no worries. He's going. That's whatever. Then it's no problem. The Jamaat people will find it that take someone for 3 days of a month or 40 days, whatever it is. They just take them, just come with us now. And they go out of the house, their work get done at home also, and then the Jamaat will also get done. But if you don't take them out, then it's all excuses. What will happen now? This will happen, and they're left behind it, and they don't go into Jamaat. So that shows how the person has got love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah put that contentment also. Allah gives the barakat also at the same time. So we got to make dua for barakat and achieve that contentment, where we follow the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in such a way that we feel contented and feel happy, and in happiness we get with ourselves, that we fulfill the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gives us tawfiq for understanding and practicing and make an effort on our iman, that our iman comes to such a level that we experience also the sweetness of the iman in our lives, and that iman has so much strength it will take us from this world right into Jannat also, inshallah.